there! In this video we're going to talk about voice leading. If you haven't seen the video on chord voicing, these videos go together. So watch chord voicing and then watch voice leading because these topics are intertwined. So I'm going to stick around C because that's the easiest to demonstrate on today, but this applies to any and every key on the piano. Whether you're in C, G, D, it doesn't matter. So when you're in the key of C, and you're trying to transition to a new chord, say you're transitioning from a C to an F, you could jump from your root to your root, but that's a lot of jumping. And it can get really frustrating when you have to move really quickly between chords and you're jumping all over the piano. So what we're going to do is talk about how to stay inside your hand. So to move from an F, we could jump up to an FAC from a C, and that's our root. But what we might want to do instead is go to one of the inversions of F. So knowing that we have FAC as our root, those are our three notes that we're going to try and get into our next chord. We've already got C in our hand, and we've already got an F in our fourth finger, and A is only one note higher than our hand. So instead, I'm not going to jump to the root. I'm just going to move my top two fingers up. And now we're in an inversion of F, but not the root. So we've gone from C to F, and only two of our fingers have moved. Our thumb has stayed anchored on C. And that's going to make transitioning between chords a lot easier. So as we go forward, let's do another example. Let's move from an F to a G. This one, I would jump to the root because we're only moving our hand up one, and that's the closest that we can get to of the inversions of G. You could, if you'd prefer, it'd be a bit more of a stretch, do a different inversion of G where you stretch your hand out. But for me personally, I think moving up works better. Now, when you talk about voice leading, what you're going to want to do is decide what sounds better as well. So while this may be easier, you may decide that you like the way it sounds to go from this F to this G, rather than... So you're going to have to use your ear a little bit to decide what you like better, or what's worth moving your hand over. So moving back to our C position, if we're trying to move from a C to a G, think about what notes are in your G root chord. If you're not sure, you can jump to the root and check it out, and just remember it's G, B, and D. Go back to your root, and now we want to make sure we have G, B, and D in our next chord, but they don't necessarily have to be in that order. We already have G in our hand, in our pinky. We have D in our hand already. We're not playing it right now, but it's already in our pointer finger in our two. And then if we sneak our thumb down one, we have our G chord. So going from C to G, all we have to do is move one finger down, our thumb. So you're going to want to start thinking differently when you're transitioning from one chord to the next. Decide, one, is it easy to move to? How can I move to it most efficiently? Because the less fingers you move, the easier it's going to be on your hand, and the less you're going to have to look at your hands to know where you're at. The other thing you're going to have to listen for is, does it sound right? If you don't like the inversion of the chord that you're on, see what other inversion is going the other direction and see if you like that one more. When you have that facility to move fluidly on your instrument and it doesn't matter what chord you're moving from to without thinking about it, that's going to make playing any kind of a lead sheet, any pop song, anything that anybody puts in front of you way easier. And that goes for reading the notes as well. Try and think critically when you're looking at chords in the left hand or the right hand and see if it makes sense how the chords are moving. Sometimes they'll give you a little cue at the top that might say E minor or F or G right above, so it'll tell you what chords you're going to. And you can decide, I don't like what the author said there. I'm going to change my inversion to something different, to something better. You want to move the fewest notes possible to get to your next chord. So I hope that makes sense. If you have any questions, any troubles, you have chord inversions that aren't making sense, or you're transitioning and it doesn't make sense, please leave a comment down below. I'll be happy to get back to you or make another video, and I'll see you all next time. Bye for now.